What's up? It's Sierra.
Hey, it's Ebony.
And welcome to the Real Play Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Play Podcast. It's Ebony.
Hey, and it's Sierra.
So today, guys, we're going to talk about dating in Chocolate City, being single in 2020, and what that looks like, at least for us. And we would like to hear from you, your feedback. Let us know if you're single and how dating is going for you in 2020.
Mm-hmm. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So right now we're in COVID. So there's dating before COVID and there's dating during COVID. So let's start by talking about what life was like when we could actually go out on dates before this whole pandemic started. So, Ebony, how about this is what I want to talk about. Let's start. What was your best date you've ever gone on?
My best date? I don't think I've had a best date.
You haven't had a best date?
No.
So I can think of one, and I actually called him. This wasn't here in beautiful Chocolate City. It actually happened in North Carolina, but I called him a few months ago, and I was like, I just want to tell you, like, you were the best date I've ever had, ever. We don't talk anymore at all, but and what made it the best date was because we were just being so spontaneous. So we were both in Charlotte, and we were hanging out. And I'm like, so what do you want to do? Neither of us live in Charlotte. And he's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I was like, well, I don't know. Let's just look and see what's happening. It was a Saturday. And we looked on Eventbrite, I think. Or maybe I just Googled things happening in Charlotte. And we ended up just city hopping. We went, when I tell you we went everywhere, first I told him I like books, but I liked like really used books. So we went to like this used bookstore. He likes music and records. And I was like, yeah, my dad has over 1,000 records, literally a collection of records. So we went to this record store and we were like walking through it, and he put a couple records on the turntable, whatever, and he played some of the music in the store. Then we looked up, we found a bar crawl. I've never been to a bar crawl. There was very few Black people at this one, but it was still so much fun. We were playing Jenga, and I'm very competitive, and he beat me. I was so mad. So we need a rematch. Once we become friends again, we're going to do a rematch. But we played that. Then he's from a place that really loves crawfish. So he found like a crawfish boil, which was like maybe 5 miles down the road from the bar crawl. So we were like, all right, well, let's just go there real quick. We went there. He had some crawfish, didn't like them. He's like, that's not how they do it in Louisiana. I'm like, well, we are in Charlotte, so.
Right.
And I didn't have crawfish because I don't. They're just roaches of the sea for real for me. So I didn't eat any of that. But then we went back to the bar crawl. Like we were just going everywhere. He's like, so what do you want to do next? And I was just like, it was a great date. Usually I want someone to plan the date. I want to know that they put in effort and thought about what they want to do. But the fact that we were just holding conversations like, oh, I like this, I like that. Well, this is happening. Let's go to this. And it's not far. It was the best date ever. It was.
Like that's good.
It was a first date too. Like it was a first date. It was an all day date. He was holding hands with me. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. Like we a little couple or whatever. But so that was my best date. And I felt like everything was starting to happen, get crazy. Like, tell people how you really feel. And even though we kind of fell out over something so stupid, it was my fault. I still felt like I wanted to call him and tell him like, dude, this was the best date I've ever had. And I really had a lot of fun with you. Thank you for that day. And I did. And he was like, thank you. He's like, no love lost. And I'm like, but we don't talk anymore. So there's some type of love lost. But I guess we're still cool. So like, I mean, the fact that he would answer and respond, it means we're still good, but we don't talk anymore. But that was my best date ever. And that happened last year, 2019. Dang, It took a long time to get to my best date, right?
Dang, I don't remember you telling me about this date, but okay. Might not have been.
Yeah, it happened in the beginning of the year. I didn't even know you. It happened like February, March. So it was really early in 2019. And we kind of stopped talking over the summer, October. Oh no, we were still talking in October. But yeah, I just haven't brought him up because there's nothing to talk about outside of that. Was just an amazing date. And it's great if a guy is able to roll with the punches and can think on his feet, because I was looking up stuff and he was looking up stuff, and
I think that's good.
It wasn't stuff that he knew I wouldn't like, even though we were just hanging out for the first time. Like, he did kind of say, well, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? What about more than just one? Oh, I found this. You want to go here? No, I don't want to go there. Okay, well, what do you want to do then? Like, no, he just kept it coming. So, and he kept it interesting.
All right. I think that's fun. I think that is a good date. You guys were friends before you actually went on your first date, so that was cool.
Yeah, we actually slid in the DM.
Ooh.
So we had never met. That was the first time we ever met. And
well, that's even more interesting.
We met each other because I slid in his DMs. I'm new to Instagram last year. And you know how it says, like, people you may know or whatever. I was like, okay. All right, he looks cool. He's in Fayetteville. Like, I used to go to school there. We might know each other. We might have friends in common. So I started following him, and he followed me back. And then we would message a little bit, but his thing was he would always just video call me on the ad. Like, he would just, it didn't matter. He didn't hit me with those warning shots, but it was fine because he was cute. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we're gonna get to know each other. He lives down there. I live up here. Turns out that he did go to the same university I went to. We were there at the same time, and knew some of the same people, but he was older than me. So he, he was a couple grades above me or whatever, but it was cool. And then I told him I was coming down to North Carolina, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then when I was there, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna come out there. I'm gonna come to Charlotte. I'm gonna hang out with some of my homies. I'll see you while I'm there. We can finally meet in person. And I was like, cool. And then when he got there, he was like, well, I really came all the way down here just to see you. I wasn't gonna hang out with my homies. And I was like, what? You could have led with that. All right. You didn't have to act like you, and I don't know, maybe he was gonna hang out with his homies, and while he was driving, he kind of changed his mind, or maybe they were busy and he's like, you know what, let me just spend the time with her. I don't know really the truth, but we had an amazing day, all day date. It was great. And he was a really good guy, I would say. I just knew that we couldn't be together, but we could have a lot of fun together. So sliding in the DMs, it's okay, ladies. You can go ahead and do it. I can actually go into my phone and see what I originally said. I don't remember if it was him first, but I know that I did actually hit that follow button first. And then after liking a picture or two, then he followed back, and then we kind of just started talking from there.
Okay, cool. So when I said that I've never had my best days, because all of my days, I feel like it's just been like ordinary, like going to get something to eat, nothing like abnormal that I can think of.
So then for that, we can kind of talk about thoughtful dates, because each woman is different. Some woman is cool with dinner and a movie. Someone may like just going to a bar or going bowling and then going home. But then there's others that like a little extra adventure in their dates, but it doesn't mean that you have to spend a whole lot of money either. So on ours, that was our first date, and we spent money at the bar crawl, which I don't remember how much.
Probably wasn't that much.
It wasn't much for us to have like we had to have tickets or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he paid for the food when we went to the Crawfish Broil Louisiana thing. Wasn't a lot, but most of the stuff we were doing was like, oh, well, we're going to go to this bookstore and look at books and, read a couple pages or whatever. And then, oh, we're going to go to this vintage record store. We didn't spend any money, but it was the thoughtfulness of, oh, what do you like? Or this is what I'm interested in. And he showed me his interest, which was the records. And I showed him the older books. So it was cool to kind of get a glimpse into each other's worlds for like a split second for free. So I think guys should definitely think about, yes, you may not want to spend a whole lot of money on a date, especially if you're not sure you're going to continue this. This is like the first date, but you don't have to even spend $50 to $75 on dinner. You can just take her to a park, or you can take her to a museum, or
yeah, I definitely think being thoughtful in planning a date, like you said, you don't have to spend any money.
yeah.
It could be totally free. It's mostly listening to
Mm-hmm.
her and what conversations you've had and what she likes to figure out, okay, well, I can plan this. And I do think sometimes guys feel pressured to, because they're probably dating multiple women and they have, to spend money. And like, here's the thing. So don't be cheap either, right? So this is like, don't
No,
try to
no McDonald's dates.
no McDonald dates, and don't try to have like, okay, well, I'm gonna take her to the park this week. I'm gonna take her to the museum next week. The next week I'm gonna take her. We're gonna go on a walk. Like, try to put some effort into actually dating. And also, I've said this on a podcast before, but when you're asking a woman to go on a date, like, make sure you're giving a date and a time, because I feel like guys, I don't know, nowadays it's just like, hey, you want to hang out? What are we doing? So, and then make it seem as if you planned it. I think because we as women, we want to feel like you've considered us, or you've thought about us. So don't just, I mean, it's okay to be spontaneous, to do stuff on a whim, but also put thought into your dates.
Definitely. You don't want the the lady to feel as though you kind of just threw this together. You want to take the time to think about what she may like, what she may not like. Check her schedule. So my second favorite date, he actually hit me up early in the week. He was like, "Hi, are you available on Saturday?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah, why? But the fact that it wasn't one of those, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" Or
Yes.
"What are you doing tonight?" It was, I want to say it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. It was early in the week. "What are you doing are you available on Saturday?" is how he phrased it. And I was like, "I am." And he's like, "I would like to take you out." And then where he took me was based off of what we talked about. Our first date was a dinner date, 2-3 hour dinner date. We just kept talking and talking and talking. He listened to everything that I said, and he planned the second date around what I said and took me painting. I was like, "What? Uh-oh." So you listen. That's how he won me over, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
That showed that he was a listener, and he was actually putting in effort, and that he cared, that he was not only just trying to impress me, but he wanted to know that he listened to what I said, and that he cared about my likes. And that goes a long way. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you guys listen to her over the phone and she tells you she likes, I don't know, ice cream, and you take her to an ice cream tasting contest, like, yo, she's gonna, and you just surprise her on it, like, she's gonna eat all that up, not trying to give you the golden
Ticket.
yeah, we're not trying to tell you all the secrets, but if you listen to us and then you actually put it into action, that really means a lot. But be genuine with it. Don't just do it because, oh, well, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, see what's up.
Right.
She like this, so let me take her and maybe I can get a little something later. No, don't do that. Don't be a creep. But do listen to us, and then putting it into action, it means everything.
Yeah,
So.
I totally agree with that. And then too, you know, let's talk about going on dates just to date. Um,
Just to
would
date,
you,
like not for a relationship?
not for
Or
a
what?
relationship, or would you go on a date with someone that you wasn't really interested in?
I have gone on a date with the person that I didn't think I was really interested in to begin with. And when we went, I realized that I was not interested in him on a romantic level, but that he was a cool guy and that we can be friends and be cool and, chat here, chat there, maybe hang out. But it wasn't I had to go on the date to make sure, to validate that, because I didn't want to just judge him off of
What you
what I
thought?
what I thought from just seeing him, because we never held a conversation. So I just seen him around. So when he asked me out, I was like, oh, okay. It was a during the day date. So I was like, okay, it's not too like involved. You do the night dates, kind of might seem a little more romantic because the lights are dimmer. But it was in the middle of the day. It was lunch. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just check this out. And we're cool. We still talk. We interact. I just know that it's not a romantic level, and he's never brought up anything romantic, but now I know for sure. So I guess in the beginning I kind of knew, but I had to, know. But what about you?
Girl, we didn't talk. I've been on dates where I wasn't really interested in the guy. And I try not to prejudge people, but okay, so as women, men do this too. When you see a guy, like first right off, if you would talk to him or not. So I've been on dates where I was not interested, less interested, and I feel like my mind never really changed. But I try to be open. So I had made like a pledge for 2019. Oh, no, was it 2020? Sorry, to stop going out on dates where I'm not interested in guys. So I've not done it in a while.
Okay.
I don't think it's beneficial to me. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't think it's beneficial to me or the other party involved.
Yeah, especially if you know for 100% fact, like there's nothing they can say or do. But then there's always that chance because maybe you're not physically attracted to them 100%, like they're not drop dead everything, but then you start talking to them and you're like, oh, okay, well, he's not that bad. And the next thing you know, that could be the one that God sent for you. So maybe you need to go on that first date just to see if there's any type of a connection. And then if not, then go about your business.
Maybe. So we'll see how 2020 shapes up. Start going out on more dates.
Yeah, whenever it's time to open up. So right now we're still not completely opened up to going out on dates or going out. The malls, I think, open next Friday. Gyms open next Friday. Restaurants are open at 50%, but at the same time, it's like you still trying to go to the restaurants inside. Outside seating is open. So guys really do have to be kind of more creative right now because things have been closed, 3 months or so. And as they open up, not everyone's going to be comfortable jumping right back out there and sitting at the bar or sitting in wherever.
Here's the thing too. I feel like during this quarantine, like if you were talking to someone during this quarantine and they haven't made any effort, because I feel like guys feel like if they can't see you physically, then they don't really want to try to pursue anything. So if they aren't really trying to find creative ways to still date during this time, it says a lot about them and their character. There's other things you can do. Like I've had one of my friends said she went out on a date where the guy basically was like, hey, let's meet up at Whole Foods. So they met up. I'm not going to say her name in case she hates that I'm telling her story, but so they met up at Whole Foods and they purchased the same groceries. He purchased the groceries. And this is something nice, a little extra special. Like he's seen like a magazine. She always wanted to go to Jerusalem. So he purchased that for her. And they went back home to their own places. And then they, cooked dinner together. So they still had like a nice, they got to see each other. They had a date and it was still something different.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he made it fun. Because one, he bought her a magazine of a place that he's already heard her say she wants to go to. And he also, instead of saying, oh, well, how about you just go in your kitchen, see what you got, and we just gonna both cook something, or we'll both just eat and look at each other on Skype. He was like, we're gonna buy the same thing. I'm gonna buy it for you. Then we're gonna go home and we're gonna cook this together. That's super cute. They went to Whole Foods, so he spent some money. You don't gotta go to Whole Foods. You can go to Aldi too. They got good stuff. But the fact that he did spend that money to buy the top of the line food or organic and everything and go home and cook it, that's probably not the average guy is probably not gonna do that.
No,
And
I was like, girl, where did you find
where you
him
find him
and keep
at?
him?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. What date number was this? Was this date number 1? I would assume
Um,
it's not. I would assume it would probably be like 2 or like it'd be a few in.
it wasn't that many though, because they met like
Okay.
right before the quarantine, so I don't think it was that many.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be the very, very first one because that's kind of a lot on the first one. But it did sound like it was probably like early on and it's still in that in press stage. So
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Um, I wouldn't actually call this a date, and we can go into the definition of dates right after this. But a creative thing that you can do is I like to do yoga. And one of my friends who does not live in the United States right now that I talked to, I thought that my yoga class was early last Saturday morning, and it turns out it's really not until June 22nd. So I was up, ready to go, and the instructor was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong date." Now what? I'm up. I got my
Right.
yoga clothes on. I was talking to him. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do yoga?" At first, he said no. He pushed back a little bit, but then he was like, "Okay." And we did yoga. Like I put it on my laptop. I had his phone. We were on video on WhatsApp, and we did yoga. It's not a date, but it still shows that he's caring about what I'm into and participated. So guys,
Yes.
you could even do something small like that, like pull up a video, watch a movie together on demand or whatever, and y'all both watch it together. Even if you want to do it on Zoom where you're like sharing your screen,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different things you can do that's semi-free,
Here's
but that
another
shows
thing.
effort.
Yeah, like you can maybe you guys are gonna watch the same movie together, you know, in separate houses on Netflix or something. Drop off like some popcorn,
Mm-hmm.
candy, maybe wine, you know, something at her doorstep. I mean,
If you know where she lives, because if
if
it's
you know where she
early,
lives.
you ain't gonna know where I live.
Ooh, I don't even know how to give you. You can't even get an address.
But what you can't, what no, but this is what you can do. You can say tonight we're gonna watch the movie. Can you meet me in the Walmart parking lot or something like that real quick? And then I meet you and you got like a pizza
Or yeah,
and some popcorn and some soda, some candy. I'm like, ah. He's like, take this with you. We're gonna eat this while we watch. Yo, you got me.
that'll be enough. Yeah.
Matter of fact, somebody do that. I like that idea. I don't date anybody that lives in the city. Like everybody I talk to lives out of this area, so it sucks. But if you're in the
Yeah,
city, you want
stuff
to go on a
like
date.
that.
I'm
So
single. I like that idea. I like
mhm.
Little Caesars pizza. I know it's the cheap pizza, but I do like Little Caesars. I heard I have to double check. I heard they're the only ones that use real cheese.
Oh, really?
Someone told me that. I need to double check that, but
I
I
just
like
had Papa John's
it.
the other day, so
I haven't had Papa John's in forever. I never really was digging them. I didn't like the taste of their pizza.
it's close to me, so that's why I eat it. But
You see how we got off topic?
right.
We love
Uh,
food. Pizza.
pizza. I'm hungry now.
I haven't had anything yet, so I'm just
I'm
drinking this Powerade.
drinking this water, pretending it's something else. Um, so yeah, that's guys. You can find creative ways to do things during this quarantine. Like, don't let it stop you. And also, um, this is the best time to really get to know somebody. Like, you're stripping off layers. Girl,
Absolutely.
we're not wearing makeup, child. We're not doing our hair.
Not.
Like, you see us real
See these
raw.
edges? These edges ain't been slicked down forever.
I look real raggedy right now. But
Yeah, so this is definitely the time to get to know someone, the real
mhm.
person. Everything, like you said, is stripped away. We're probably at our most raw that you're going to see and hear from us. So you should really have taken this time to get to know the person. And like you said, we're paying attention. If you're not taking this time to want to talk to us, to get to know us, to want to plan something, to any of that, we're not dumb. We're watching. So when everything opens up, don't think we're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, we can just go out now. No, you had all these months, and you knew I wasn't doing anything because you knew everything was
Mhm.
closed, and you didn't try. So therefore, you were probably either talking to someone else or you just weren't that interested, and that's fine. You don't have to be that interested. I'm no longer interested either. So,
Absolutely not.
mm, mm, mm.
So with uh, the quarantine, it's a little hard to also meet people. So let's say you're not dating anyone.
Mm-hmm.
How are we meeting people nowadays?
So I have not met anybody new, but the only thing that I can think about would be the different apps that are out there, the dating apps, or even just the slide in the regular DMs of somebody that you may see their little profile, think they might be a little attractive, follow them, they follow you back and send and drop a message. Because you really, I mean, I will say, I lied. I have met 2 people since quarantine started, and I was like, why are you trying to get my number? Because I got a mask on. You can't even see my face. It's when I went to get my car fixed and when my battery died. So, yeah, I probably, I had on a little dress walking into the AutoZone trying to get my battery. And a couple people tried to get my number. I did give it to one. I was like, oh, he look all right. We'll see what's up. But he wasn't about anything. So his text messages. The text messages came in, and I'm not an English major by far, but some of that stuff, it was just irritating to see. Like,
you know how I feel about that. Like, if you're gonna text me, at least let me know right off that you could spell. I could take you somewhere, and it'd be okay.
Like, yeah, I would say at least the first week or two.
Then
you don't have to use full sentences, but make sure that you're using the right like how's your day, you're doing, you're welcome. Like, come on, like, what are we doing? You do the right thing in the beginning, and then after a while we get comfortable with each other, then we can start using more short, because then I know that you can spell and that you have some grammar, some grammar. So
otherwise I have to assume, and assuming is gonna mean you about to be blocked.
Yes. So he was like that, and then he would like text a few days, and then it would be a bunch of days where I don't hear from him.
Ooh, and consistency.
Then he would come pop back up, and I'm like, why do you think I'm gonna respond? Like, at that point, we weren't in a relationship, we just met each other, so I don't expect every single day, all day, every day for us to text. But if you were trying to talk to me, that's not the way to get my attention. So that kind of fell off really fast.
My God, I don't know if I told you this, but there was this guy who apparently I met in like January, earlier in the year. And I got this random text on my phone, and he was like, hey. And I'm like, hey, who is this? And they're like, is this Ebony? And I'm like, I didn't really know how to respond to that because I didn't know who was asking. So I'm like, maybe. And he sent me a picture and was like, hey, I met you earlier this year. And I was like, okay, I don't remember meeting you. Like, tell me the circumstances. He was like, you were getting in an Uber in DC. You're not from here. And I'm like, where did we have this conversation? Like, I literally don't remember. And maybe, we did, but I don't remember the conversation. And so it got a little sticky because then he was like, well, let's FaceTime. I'm like, no. And let me show you.
But he had your number.
He had my number, so apparently I gave it to him at some point.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. Granted, so that was one person that tried to talk to me, and then people. I said on this podcast before, no one slots in my DMs, but nobody really slots in my DMs like that. So
I'm glad that my profile is private, because I've been getting a whole lot of message requests lately, and a lot of them are asking for sugar babies. So that's him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have just FaceTime and asked him, like, so where did we meet?
I don't really, like, you gonna wait. I haven't been in DC and I don't know how long, right? So let's say this is in January. You waited 6 months to text me?
Oh, that was the very first text ever in your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you can.
So you're just looking for something to do. You must be bored.
Yeah, that's about to say. He must be bored. Went through his phone and was like, hey, let me hit her up. What number is this? Who is this? He probably wanted you to send a picture so he could see what you look like, because he couldn't remember.
I don't know. I asked him if he was bored, and he was like, why do you say that? I'm like, you text me 6 months later. I don't even know if I met him in January, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I've been super busy. And I'm like, it's quarantine. How busy have you really been?
Everybody done went through their contacts during quarantine. And you either text somebody or you delete it, like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person, and delete that person, but you can't tell me.
You've been
6 months. Like if you were really interested if he was really interested when he got your number, he would at least text you the next day or within a couple of days. Cause I guess there's this rule.
I mean, also I could have deleted it out my phone because I am that person too. Like after a while, I'm just deleting numbers. I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, if he was really interested when he got your number, he would have started that conversation. And even if you delete it, you still should have been able to remember him. So I feel like he probably didn't say anything because you would have remembered who he was.
Right.
And so to wait that long and then just hit you up out of the blue, like, yeah, it sounds like, oh, I'm bored. Let me just see. Oh, I don't remember what she looks like. And I've had that happen once. One guy, he was messaging me and he was like, hey, your number's in my phone. Where do we meet? And I'd never heard of his name. And it ended up turning out that I never gave him my number. The reason he had my number is because my friend gave it to him. He was inviting me to, how do I say this? To someone in his life, to a party. And he needed my number because he was texting out the invitations.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how he had my number. Because I'm like, I don't know your name. I have no idea who you are. But he was just going through his phone and found my number. I was like, well, let me just hit this person up. And that's, I couldn't figure it out. And he's like, yeah, I do this, I do that. We should meet and talk business. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. But that's how it happened. That's, I think, the only time someone was like trying to talk to me. And I'm like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
It was weird. But it's not a good look right now for people to kind of try to come back. But then at the same time, I do feel like that guy doesn't count because you guys didn't know each other. But like if it's someone that you used to talk to a long time ago and there was no reason why you guys stopped talking, you guys just kind of stopped. If someone is constantly on your mind, I do think you should reach out to them because you just never know. Like the Holy Spirit's telling you for some reason to reach out to them. That's not his case, but if you got to go back in through your phone, through your Rolodex and hit somebody up you haven't hit in a while, if they're on your mind, do it and just see what's up. And it don't even have to be for a date. It can just be, just check on them.
Yeah. So some other ways, I mean, other than random text to start to find guys, I don't really recommend like going through Instagram, finding who you can talk to. I mean, you can slide into someone's DMs, but I don't know. Like, I don't see any like guys on my explore page where I'm like, ooh, let me slide in their DM. So I'm like, I'm like, how do you guys be meeting people off Instagram? Like, where?
I think sometimes like, even with the last person I met off Instagram and we've become really, really cool. He commented on something that a mutual friend said. I liked his comment. From me liking his comment, then he sent the follow request. I accepted. I followed him back. Then we just started messaging and video chatting, and we're cool. So I think it's as simple as that. You don't actually have to say, oh, that profile picture looks cool. He looks cute. Let me go ahead and send this request. Or if his profile is open, you don't have to go in there and like all his pictures and send a request. It can be as simple as whatever pages you guys are following. If you like a comment, or if you have mutual friends and you comment, he may send something or you may send something.
Maybe I don't look that hard to see like who's commenting, or I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a very simple line that he put, because I was about to type something. That's what it was. I was about to respond to her post, and I saw his. I was like, oh, his says everything I needed to say. Like, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, he got the notification that someone liked it. And then he saw my profile picture and was like, oh, he must have been like, okay, well, she liked it. She look all right. Let me see what the rest of her profile looks like. Let me send this follow request and see if she accepts. And I did, because I had no reason to. I saw we had the friend we had in common. I was like, he can't be that crazy, Yeah. And the comment he made,
my profile was private. It's no longer private. And it's just because we have like the podcast and stuff. And so I'm like, what's the point of having it not private? I don't have anything like crazy on my page anyway, but it does. Sometimes I do want to know who's lurking on your page, but it is.
Oh, I definitely do. Mine is private. It's going to stay private, because what's on mine is personal stuff. Like I've got pictures of my family. I've got pictures of when I was running for Miss Fayetteville State. I've got pictures with my real true friends. Like I don't want just the whole world to look at it because they're not part of my world. So I'm like, and that's why I was saying, like, I have a lot of friend requests and I'll look and see. I'm like, wait, who do we have in common? Nobody? No. What is it? No. And a lot of stuff, I'm just like, I don't want you to have that access. And then it stops those random messages from coming in because you get a request. Like I've got 4 right now that are still in there, and they're asking for sugar babies.
Oh,
what?
No.
Had I had a regular profile, they probably would have just been, liking pictures, sending messages. At least I can keep that out. And I'm not gonna say I'm a private person. I'm pretty much an open book if I trust you, but I'm just not gonna have everybody. I'm not going to give everybody access to the personal stuff. Now, if I just had a page that was very business-like, and I wouldn't have any problem. Like everybody follow me, I'll follow you back. It'd be cool. But, speaking of pages,
pages, our podcast is tied to my page too. So that's another reason why I have it not private.
Mine is too. So I think that's how people can really see me, because you can see my profile picture on my page, but you can't see anything else. But if you click on our podcast page, then you can go see other pictures of me and my likes and the other things that we posted. So you can get a little bit of taste, but you still don't get to see who Ciara is until you're in my full world, which I don't even have a whole lot of, I don't even know how many.
I don't even post that much, so.
Yeah, but I don't know how many posts I have. I know I have like over 100, but I definitely have under 200 because I'm still new to this game. But they are real deal, like my life, and I'm not trying to. I don't want, because you can look at my page and you can learn a lot about me, about my likes, about what I love, what I cherish. And so if you are following me and you can see all that stuff, you can plan a date around something that I talked about. Something in there you can see that I love my mom's dog. I love my family. I love my sorority. I love my school. And I love my friends. I don't have too many food pictures though, but I do cook and put it in my story so you can see what I like to eat so we can plan those dates. So, but they do say girls, women, whatever, they will tell you everything. And we will. We're not that hard to understand because we give you all the clues. We tell you things straight up, but I think sometimes men don't always hear it.
True.
Like we'll tell you everything. To be like, and yeah, I know you've told guys like pretty much every way possible to make you happy, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't listen or they don't see it.
Well, for one, we've been very vocal on this podcast about what we like, what we don't like. I think anybody who gets to know me, I'm kind of like, this is who I am. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you're talking to a guy, you're telling him who you are, what you like, what you don't like. But then if he turns around and does something you don't like, it's like,
but I already told you. Yeah,
I just told you. Or if like you keep saying on the podcast, you talk about that you like books, but I'm sure if you're talking to someone on the phone, you may tell him you like books. This is your last book you read. Mm-hmm. From there, he can kind of see what your interests are. And if he's smart, he might want to read some of those books so you guys can have a discussion. A couple of days ago, the guy, we sat down and he was actually reading a book to me. And I was like, that's everything.
Right.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like if he can see a pattern of what you said you've read, he may want to take you out one day at the picnic that's cheap but fun, pull out a book and be like, hey, this is what I'm reading right now. Here's a couple. Do you want to read this together? Do you want me to read it out? Read out loud. That hits the heart when a guy wants to read out loud. So that's what I'm saying. Like you pretty much set him up. He just had to do a little bit to make it work.
Right. And
we're not that hard.
Men. Yes.
Come on, man. Come on.
Think a little bit. Just think a little bit.
So as we talked about like the dating and we talked about sliding in the DMs, and we talked a little bit about texting, but when we're texting and we said, text with proper English, please, in the beginning. But are you someone who likes to call or do you like to text?
That's interesting. So, it depends on who I'm talking to. I like to text because it's easier, like, during the day when you're working and stuff like that, it's easier. Once you get to know them, like FaceTime is fine as long as you sometimes I like an appointment, but if you don't care how I look, then it's fine. And calling is fine. Calling is fine. You just have to know my schedule and know when to call me.
True. They have to, you don't want somebody calling you like early in the morning when you sleep, late at night when you're asleep, while you're at work, when you're busy. Like, you got to have that sweet spot. And I think it's great when they hit you with that text like, hey, are you available? Can I call right now?
Yeah. And I actually, I prefer, I mean, if I'm talking to a guy, you can call me at any time. And I also like talking on the phone because I feel like guys nowadays, they want to text and they want to FaceTime. That's it. No in between. And it's just something magical about like conversating on the phone. And also, like, if you're just strictly texting me, then I don't want to go anywhere with you. Like, I can't know everything. It's like another, I don't know how to call it. It's not body language because you can't get that through the phone, but it's just a different level.
Like, you can hear the tones.
Yeah.
So you prefer, or you see a difference in talking on the phone versus FaceTiming?
Oh no, FaceTime is fine. But sometimes if I how can I say this? Sometimes you're like laying on the couch and I may not want to like hold up my phone to keep FaceTiming, and like it's easier if I put my phone down and we chat. So honestly, there's really no difference. So I don't mind either one.
Okay.
It's just that when we first meet, like, don't say, hey, on the first day you want to FaceTime me. Without an appointment. Let me just say it that way.
Make an appointment.
An appointment. Until we get to that level, and then I'm like, okay, cool.
Where he can just do it at any time, and it doesn't matter whether you're up, lounging, hair done, hair not done. I get it. I like a mixture of both, like you said. Sometimes I don't feel like talking. Like, if I'm talking all day at work, then I come here and I record, or I have a conference call. I don't want to talk on the phone no more. I don't talk too much. I'm an extrovert. I like to talk, but I don't like to talk all of the time. Like, every now and then I just want my peace. So on those days it might be texting, and then other days it may be like, man, I'm at work and I'm typing so much. Just call me, because now I don't feel like texting. And sometimes I'm lazy. I'll do that voice text, talk straight to the phone. Like, I don't even feel like swiping and texting. So I like to do both. I don't always want to have a text conversation with you. I don't always want to hear from you on the phone, and I don't always want to see your face. But I do, I will say I do want to see your face. There's some, I want to see you at least, if I can get a good 3 times a week right now, since we can't see people physically. I want that. I just want to see. And sometimes I'll even just send voice messages. Like, I want to hear I'm going to send you my voice, because that means send me one back. Don't let me send you a voice and then you text back. Like, that's irritating. I've sent videos before. Like, there's different ways to communicate, and I don't always want the same thing.
Mix it up a little.
It depends on the mood that I'm in. And it's not usually with a complete stranger. Like, with complete strangers, what I have done mostly have been texting and using apps to video call, because I don't give them my real number right off for a few weeks. But that's just me.
I told you I need to implement that. I need to start doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really not a super duper private person, but at the same time, like, I don't want you to have my number.
I use the block, I feel like if we're already block.
If we're interested in a guy and he's a little more shy, what do we do to get his attention? Because I don't want to pursue. I want to be pursued. But there's also, as they were talking about, there's ways where you can kind of let him know that you're interested on that level to get him to.
So here's the thing for me. I personally don't like shy guys, right? Like, I wouldn't be interested. And it's because, I don't know, for some reason, not that you can't be a leader if you're shy. I just tend to gravitate towards a certain like guy that's more assertive. However, if I was interested in a guy and he was shy and I needed to get his attention, like I don't want to force anybody to want to date me. So I think it's, even though he's shy, he could, if I see that he likes me, then it's a more of a like, hey, you know, what are you doing this weekend? Or like little fillers to where I could see like, oh, well, maybe we can hang out in an isolated place, and I could see if that'll open him up a little bit more. Because you also don't know the extent of someone's shyness, right? So if you're super shy and we got on a date and you can't speak to me, then how's that going to work?
Yeah.
So what do you,
that's true.
I'm not into pursuing guys. Like I'm not going to pursue you, especially at this point in my life. Like,
yeah.
I don't think no.
Yeah. I don't want to do the pursuing. And some of the things that they were saying, so like this is what the guys were saying. The way to kind of pursue them or let them really know that you're interested so that they can pursue you. And I don't even know if it's true, but it's like giving them compliments. So one guy was like, yeah, if you tell me like my cologne smells good, then maybe I might think that that's kind of like you telling me you're a little interested. And I'm like,
so
that really
with that
doesn't,
point, because I like telling, if a guy walks past me and they smell nice, I'm like, oh, you smell nice. I might not be interested, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Like that's just kind of like, that's like basic. But because he said it, some men may take that as, especially if it's not like a random guy. Like this is someone that you may know. And when I say shy, like you've seen him around a few times and he's not sure if you're interested. So that would have worked for him.
Maybe like a, you know, when you're talking to people and you kind of like, not linger your hand, but I'll put my hand on your shoulders, not like
a flirtatious touch,
yes.
a love tap.
Yes.
As we used to call them back in the day, those are love taps. Yeah, those would work. But I think sometimes you really just gotta be a little bit like blunt, like, hey, like you look really nice today. Like I'm feeling your beard look good or whatever. Maybe we have to say
maybe
that
give a hug a little bit longer.
Yes, if they're okay with physical touch and they're not too shy for that. No hugs right now though, still COVID. True. But yeah, sometimes I think you might have to, and I feel like I might have to do this, like actually say, you know, you look nice, and you know, I've been peeping your little vibe, you've been doing your little thing. I see you out there in the streets.
Would you tell a guy like I like you?
That's never said that he liked me to begin with.
Think about he's shy. No,
probably not, because just like men, I'm afraid of rejection. So I don't want to be like, hey, I like you. And then he'd be like, oh, that's nice. Or, you know, you're cool, but no, you know, so I would try to do it in little ways so that if he doesn't feel the same, at least I can save face a little bit.
Easy.
A little bit. That's why I'd be like, oh, you look nice. And then maybe if he says I look nice, I'm like, oh, maybe we might look nice together going out somewhere. Hey, you know, and make it funny. Like maybe I can do that.
First of all, Miss Sierra, you on your Instagram profile, you have that you are a flirt. So we need some flirting tips on this podcast.
Yeah, we can do an episode on that. I'm a flirt, but if I really, really like you, my flirting it's not as much, because then it's like, whoa.
Oh, so this is interesting.
If he doesn't flirt back to the level I'm trying to flirt, then I might feel a little some kind of way.
So there's levels of flirting.
It's like when you really like somebody, you kind of, and you really want to talk to them, you're not going to be as forward because your feelings are more involved. But yeah, that's how I meet all these people. Like when I'm out and about, I have no problem meeting anybody like out, because I'm gonna talk to you, I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna put that love tap on your shoulder. I'm gonna, you know, I'm going to compliment you. You going to compliment me. Like I can flirt with the best of them. You're like, I got it. But if I really like you, that's when I start to kind of retreat a little bit, because it's that whole, what if he doesn't feel the same way back? And then my feelings going to be hurt. When you're flirting, the feelings aren't involved. It's just fun. It's just, a little banter back and forth.
Yeah,
it's cute.
I think I flirt most by bantering and jokes and like that. That's probably my area.
Yeah, and I use it's my icebreaker. It's my way to keep everything. I like to keep the atmosphere fun. So wherever we're at, like even especially if we're in groups, like I'm all about it. Like, Sierra, I got you. You want a fun atmosphere? I got you. But if I like you, I'm like, what should I text him, or what should I say, or what? Oh no, he's coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I start to get nervous. And I saw a meme. It was really funny, but it was like, if she laughs with you too, or something like, then she thinks you're ugly or something like that.
What?
Because it had to do with like, if she's over the top extra with you, she thinks you're ugly. Because if she really likes you, she's gonna be a tad bit more reserved around you, because now she's in her nerves. And that's how I can be. Unless we're over the phone, like I can do a lot of flirting over the phone, but like once we're person, I'm like, and I like you for real. Yeah. So, yeah, we can talk about flirting on another episode and the fun of it, what we do it for, and the outcomes of a good flirt. When it's too much flirting.
True.
But then also sometimes you have to be sure you kind of can feel the person's vibes a little bit, because you don't want them to start falling for you and be like, dang, I done flirted my way into a relationship. Dang it, I was just play.
Right. So it's a little sticky too. So when you're dating and you're not really ready for a relationship, or you still want to kind of date multiple people, you gotta like flirt and pull back. It's kind of like, oh, let me just dip in, dip out. But yeah, comfortable. Because like you said before, you'd be like, darn, how did I get here? Yeah.
There's a fine line. And I have tried to perfect it.
So teach us, we're going to do an episode so you can teach us your ways. Let us know.
The ways. Yes. It's all, I think a lot of it goes with the smiles. Like it's just having the smile on your face when you're doing it, and just the genuineness in your eyes. You just have fun. That's all it really is just having fun, connecting with the person on a fun level, and just being playful. And I think that's sometimes people get a little nervous. And when you get really nervous, I think it's because that nervous energy is because you really like the person. So that's good. That's when I start to trip up. That's when my flirtation, like I start to be like, wait a minute.
Man, I didn't trip and fail, and now I might start being
like my words, I start mixing them together, and I'm like, wait, what did I just say? Stupid. Here, get your life. Talking to yourself in your head. But that's when I really do like somebody. But if not, I like to do a little. Not saying that I don't like the other ones. Don't want to say that. I don't want to say I just flirt with anybody just to flirt. Like sometimes I'll flirt with someone that I do like and have like an attraction to. But when you really are like thinking like that one, like I like him, that's when the flirting kind of gets a little difficult. So anyway. But for the guys that are a little more shy, what we want you to do is send us a message. Let us know what you want a woman to say that would give you that green flag to let you know she's interested enough that she's not going to turn you down. Because I think what it comes down to is he's a little bit shy because he doesn't know your full level of interest and he doesn't want to get rejected. But at the same time, we're like, yo, I'm here. I want you. I want to talk to you. But we don't want to be the ones to go up to him. So fellas, the fellas that are listening, and even the ladies, if you've had this happen before where you were feeling somebody and you kind of felt like they were feeling you and you were like, you know what, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and I'm going to say what I need to say and I'm going to initiate this, and it worked, let us know so we can share it with the rest of the Real Play podcast community, because we're all out here trying to do what we got to do, find that love, find that friendship, do whatever. So let us know what works for you. And we'll share that with everybody. Because right now, I'm thinking the only thing I can do is just be straight up like, yo, I'm feeling you a little bit. You cute, whatever. And
I told you yesterday, like I do, like I would prefer a guy say I'm interested in you or I like you, because sometimes it's not clear, and I don't like. I'm not gonna play a guessing game on if you like me or not, or and then sometimes I might not want to know that you like me, so I don't have to like tell you I'm not interested. So there's that too.
So I thought about that. So I wonder if the easiest way for the shy guy would be to just straight up ask him, like, do you like me?
It's a little high school, but yeah.
Do you like me?
Yeah.
Click yes or no.
Click yes.
And then that way he knows that you are at least interested in him enough that you cared about the answer to ask the question.
Yeah.
So then he should know, like, hey, she must be feeling me, because why would she ask me? And then from there,
you need to add a maybe too, because sometimes you might, it's not like a full like, you might be considering.
This is another way I flirt. One guy, this was years ago, I sent him a little meme that I found on Pinterest, and it was like, do you like me? And it was like, yes, most definitely, absolutely. He had no other choice. Like, he had to pick yes. So all of those answers were yes. And he laughed and he said yes. So, and that might even be the flirtatious way that I would do it. Like, send it to the guy that I have a little crush on, like, do you like me? Yes, absolutely. So all his answers are yes. And if he has a different answer, then don't respond back. And see, that's the fun way. Like, I try to keep it fun.
So there was this guy that I was friends with in college, and he was actually dated a friend of mine, but we were like real platonic friends, had conversations, and they had stopped dating, but we were, I remained friends with him, of course. And one of our mutual friends had called me on the phone. This is like during one of the summers, and they were like, oh, such and such likes you. And I'm like, who? No, they don't. Like, we're friends. Like, quit playing. And so I'm like, I'm going to call him and ask. So I called and I'm like, hey, such and such told me that you like me. And it has to be a lie. And he was like, no, I do. I said, oh, okay. Wasn't expecting that. I think I haven't talked to him in a long time, but we remained friends after that. But I mean, we both know that I would never date him. So that's interesting though. But so sometimes people are waiting in the shadows and not saying anything. So guys, you never know. Better take a shot.
You never know. Shoot that shot. All right. So I think the last thing we were really going to talk about are the do's and don'ts of dating. What you got on your list of the do's? We kind of already talked about the do's, didn't we?
Yeah, do be consistent. Do plan ahead, set a time and a date. Oh, that's a do. Do text with basic grammar skills when you first start communicating. Do call, right?
Yes, not always text, please.
Not always
mix
text.
It up.
You can FaceTime. Just make sure if you're first talking, set an appointment for that too. Because sometimes we want to look nice if we really like you. Let me think of something else. Do try to think outside the box on dates. Absolutely. Be creative. I can't think of anything else that will,
Yeah.
Oh, do stay engaged and do communicate. So I think, like you said before, communication is very important. So if something changes, if you're not liking the person anymore, or if like you're taking her out on a date and time changes or something comes up, let her know in advance, not last minute.
Yes. Yeah. Don't do it the last minute. And also don't do it over and over and over again. Like, if you're really trying to talk to somebody and you're trying to meet them and you are trying to set up a date, don't keep canceling and rescheduling, because guess what? That kind of shows your level of interest. And even though I totally understand that things happen, but over and over and over again, and then there's no real setup for the next date, or if it does get rescheduled, it get canceled again and again and again. At that point, your life is too busy. You're not ready to date. Right. So just don't. That's a big don't. Because that's happened to me before.
Oh, and don't expect her to be on your time all the time, right? So again, look at her schedule. See when she's free. Like it should be mutually beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask for pictures.
Oh no, because you're not getting one.
Is irritating. I understand you want to see what she looks like. Don't constantly ask for a picture, especially if you just met. Oh, let me get a picture. For what? If you want to see me, you can meet me somewhere and we can go out. But I'm not going to send you a picture. It's a total turn off.
It is. I can't. Guys ask that way too fast and all the time. Leave me alone.
All the time. No. First date. I mean, not the first date. The first day they meet you. The next day. Can I get a picture? No. I don't take pictures.
Right. No.
And what I always say is, well, when we go out, when we go out, you can take a picture when you see me. And then we never set up a date. So,
or like, send me a picture of you. Guys don't do that, but they want a picture.
No, that doesn't work because they will send you a picture.
Oh.
They'll send me a picture and then I'll be like, dang it. So that's happened before. So I usually, my go-to line is, well, let's just set up a date to see each other. If you want to see me, and you can take a picture then. And usually when we see each other, I have never had them actually take a picture. I think because it's then becomes awkward. So that's the way to get out of sending a picture. But don't ask for one, guys, because we really do find that completely unattractive.
Right. I don't know what other pictures you have in your phone either. So, and also,
what you gonna do with it? Like, no.
Yes, and also like, okay, so one thing I wanted to discuss a little bit is like when you move to a city and you don't really know people, and so you're kind of like filling it out and maybe like, you know, dating, but you don't know who knows who. Like we might just go on one date or have a conversation once, and I don't want you telling people we dated because that's not a date.
Oh yeah, like I used to talk to her. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
We talked on the phone like 3 or 4 times. I don't even know your mama name. Like we're not
on that level.
Yeah. So unless we're exclusively dating, don't tell nobody that we're dating.
Thank you. That's a don't. Yeah. If we're exclusive, we've dated, we've been in a relationship. If we've never been exclusive, you don't know me.
Exactly. You don't know me in the streets. Walk right past.
What's the T.I. song? Dang it, I forgot. It came in my head.
If you see
it, you don't know me.
Exactly. Like you don't. Keep walking.
That is funny to me.
Yeah, we're just playing, y'all. You can say hi. You can say hi. Let's see, what else are some don'ts? Those are the main don'ts that I can think about. Just don't be lazy and don't be inconsistent. So do be consistent and don't be inconsistent. Like
correct.
And I know everybody's going to do what they're going to always want to put on their like best self for the dating, but really be as genuine as you can. Don't put up that fake facade. Like we don't need that because it's going to come down. We're going to know we're going to not like you anymore if we feel like you've lied to us of who you are the whole time. So just be as real as possible.
Yes, do be honest.
And if we can think of any other do's and don'ts, we'll definitely list those out
yes.
on our page. But those are the main ones that I can think of right off.
Yeah, and we should do like another one of those, like we had the BYOS for bring your own snacks.
And we were on there for, what was it, like
3 hours?
3 hours? Yeah, it was. It started at 7, right? Yeah, we got off at like 10:30. I was like, y'all, I'm hungry. I want to eat my pizza in peace. You're like, but you can eat it on the camera. I was like, I've already eaten 2 slices on the camera. I want to eat the other 2.
I was trying to.
It was a fun conversation. It was a fun conversation. Like we talked about relationships. We talked about everything. So we'll definitely do another one coming up. So hopefully you'll be able to join us, and we'll definitely put that information out there. And bring a friend. And we shouldn't say like bring a friend of the opposite sex, because we had a lot of guys. We had a even. I think it was even.
Yeah.
But the more the merrier. So I'm trying to make this a fun event.
Yeah, do that. And guys, I think this episode is done. So make sure you rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that you like us on Instagram and Facebook, that you share our podcast with your friends, with your family. I don't know.
We're new. We're still new.
We haven't even been out here.
Yeah, we're not even 6 months old yet, but we are out here for you. We're having fun with this. We want you to have fun with us too. We want this to be an interactive podcast. We've brought on guests. We might even bring on, we brought guests that are actually, that we know as friends, but are actual followers of us on social media. So who knows? You might be the next guest. All we got for this one. This Dating in Chocolate City.
All right. Dating in Chocolate City.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on all social media platforms at The Real Play Podcast.
We would love to hear from you, so leave us a comment, DM, or voice note. And don't forget to come hang out with us on our next episode.